So Sun Yat-Sen, here's a photograph. You've heard of Benjamin Franklin? Yes. You've heard of Thomas Jefferson, George Washington. You may have heard of Simón de Bolivar.
Yep.
Okay, all right. All of these folks lived about 200 years ago, a little more than that, and they helped liberate, if you can call it that, and that's partly true. But those people I've mentioned helped liberate about 5 million people, no, including South America, about 35 million people 200 years ago. This fellow liberated 400 million people 100 years ago, and you haven't heard of him. Why is that? Well, it's not your fault, it's your educational system's fault. So who is this fellow? He was born in 1866, 1925 is when he dies. He was born in Canton in the southern, near Hong Kong, in the southern part of China. And he had an elder brother who moved to the Hawaiian Islands in the 1870s. And the elder brother had the younger brother, Sen, come to Hawaii in order to get an education because there was no, what we would recognize as a public education available until 1912. Through that education, Sen became familiar with Western-style political institutions, and specifically the American Constitution, but others as well, other Western constitutions. And he takes that information back to China and he says, wow, we could open up this country and really make it powerful and it would be dynamic for the people. And the emperor said, you've got 48 hours to be out of the country or you're dead, because I don't want to hear about this. So he goes to Japan for 10 years, Sen does. He spends 10 years there. He's now fluent in English, having studied at an American school. While in Japan, he reads a book written by a San Franciscan, a fellow named Henry George, who writes a book entitled Progress and Poverty. Sun Yat-Sen reads this and he says, that's what's going to transform China. So he writes a book while here in exile. He was in San Francisco for a total of about 5 years, and while here he wrote the San Manchui, the 3 guiding principles of the people. 2 principles were simply, we need to unify the people into a collective whole, and secondly, we need a new constitution. The third was an economic program, and the centerpiece of the economic program were Henry George's ideas of we're going to socialize land value and use that to pay for college, we're going to use that to pay for streets, we're going to use that to pay for fire protection, we'll use that to subsidize housing if we want to do that. That will be the centerpiece.